take a deep breath, and let's hear a story about Anna, who discovered that sometimes the greatest gifts come disguised as inconveniences. Anna's morning began like any other Tuesday in her downtown apartment. The soft blue glow of her smartphone illuminated her face as she scrolled through an endless stream of emails, appointments, and to-do lists. Outside, dark clouds gathered slowly, painting the morning sky in shades of charcoal and slate. The weatherman had mentioned a possibility of storms, but Anna had barely registered this information, too focused on the back-to-back meetings filling her calendar. As she sipped her coffee, still hot and aromatic in her favorite ceramic mug, Anna mentally rehearsed her presentation for the afternoon client meeting. The bittersweet taste of the dark roast lingered pleasantly on her tongue as she gazed absently through the window. The gentle patter of raindrops had begun to tap against the glass, creating a rhythm that contrasted with the urgency of her thoughts. Her apartment, a minimalist sanctuary of clean lines and neutral tones, hummed with the quiet energy of modern convenience. The dishwasher cycled in the kitchen. The air conditioner maintained a perfect 72 degrees, and her smart speaker announced the morning's headlines. Anna moved through this technological cocoon with practiced efficiency, barely noticing the comforts that surrounded her daily life. The first distant rumble of thunder barely registered as she packed her leather portfolio with important documents. Her fingers traced the smooth surface of her tablet screen, confirming her route to the office would avoid the worst of the morning traffic. Another sip of coffee, another glance at the clock. Her day was unfolding precisely according to plan, each minute accounted for and optimized. Her phone buzzed with a message from her colleague Carlos, checking if they could review the presentation slides one last time before the big meeting. Anna's mind was already racing through potential questions the clients might ask, analyzing data points and considering contingencies. The rain outside grew heavier, droplets now striking the window with increased urgency. As she moved to the bathroom to apply the finishing touches to her makeup, the lights flickered once, twice, then settled. Anna paused, mascara wand in hand, and listened to the intensifying storm. The wind had picked up, whistling softly around the corners of her building. Something about the sound made her hesitate for just a moment, a brief pause in her carefully orchestrated morning. The sudden darkness took her by surprise, complete and absolute. The bathroom was plunged into shadow as every electrical device in the apartment went silent simultaneously. Anna stood perfectly still, her eyes adjusting to the dimness. The rain continued its percussion against the windows, but now it was the only sound in her suddenly quiet home. For a moment, Anna felt disoriented in the unexpected stillness. The absence of humming appliances created a strange vacuum of sound she hadn't experienced in her apartment before. She fumbled for her phone in her pocket, its screen providing a small island of light. The network signal bars were empty, No service, no data, no connection to her carefully planned day. She made her way cautiously to the window, drawn by the intensifying storm outside. The normally busy street below was transformed, traffic lights dark, shops unlit, and pedestrians huddled under umbrellas or in doorways. The entire neighborhood, perhaps the entire district, had lost power. Ana's mind raced as she calculated the impact this would have on her schedule. With growing concern, she tried her landline phone dead. Her internet router displayed no lights. Even her fully charged laptop seemed pointless without Wi-Fi access. The realization settled slowly. She was completely disconnected from her digital lifelines. No emails, no video calls, no shared documents or instant messages. Her meticulously planned day was evaporating with each passing minute. The rain continued to fall in sheets, washing down her windows in hypnotic patterns. Thunder rolled across the sky, and occasional flashes of lightning briefly illuminated her apartment in stark white light. Ana stood at the window, watching nature's display with growing acceptance. There would be no commute through this deluge, no client meeting in a powerless building. Outside, the city seemed to be holding its breath. Without the normal electrical hum, Ana could hear new sounds emerging, the pure music of rainfall, the distant calls of people to one another, the rustle of trees bending in the wind. Her apartment, usually so familiar, took on a different character in the storm-filtered light, shadows gathering in corners she rarely noticed. As the reality of her situation sank in, Ana's shoulders slowly relaxed, releasing tension she hadn't realized she was carrying. Her day's careful structure had dissolved, leaving something undefined and open before her. The strange thought occurred that perhaps this forced pause wasn't entirely unwelcome. She placed her phone face down on the coffee table and took a deep breath. Ana moved through her apartment, rediscovering it by touch and limited light. Her fingers trailed along bookshelves as she searched for candles she knew were stored somewhere. Each drawer opened revealed forgotten items, a pack of birthday candles, matches from a restaurant she'd visited months ago, a flashlight with batteries that still held charge. Small treasures in this new, unplugged reality. The soft glow of candles soon created pools of golden light throughout her living space. Shadows danced on the walls as Ana arranged them strategically, transforming her modern apartment into something that felt older, more intimate. The scent of vanilla and cedar from the candles mingled with the fresh petrichor drifting through a cracked window, creating a sensory experience that was surprisingly pleasant. Ana found herself drawn to her bookshelf, fingers running along spines she had collected but rarely opened. She pulled out a volume of poetry she'd received as a gift years ago, the pages still crisp from disuse. Settling into her reading chair by the window, the book felt substantial in her hands, a physical presence unlike the digital words she typically consumed on screens. The rain continued its steady percussion, creating a soothing backdrop to her reading. Ana's breathing slowed as she immersed herself in verses about nature, love, and time's passage. The poet's observations about rain seemed particularly apt, describing droplets as silver messengers between sky and earth. She found herself reading certain lines aloud, enjoying the resonance of words in the quiet apartment. Time passed differently without digital markers. Ana realized she had no idea if it was 10 a.m. or noon, and strangely, it didn't seem to matter. Her stomach eventually suggested it was lunchtime, leading her to the kitchen where she assembled a simple meal by candlelight. The cheese and bread tasted richer somehow, her senses more attuned to flavor without the usual distractions. After eating, Ana discovered an old notebook in her desk drawer, its pages mostly empty. On an impulse, she began to write, not needing notes or to-do lists, but observations about the storm, snippets of the poetry she'd read, and thoughts that had been hovering at the edges of her consciousness. Her handwriting, initially stiff from disuse, gradually flowed more freely across the page. The apartment had grown comfortably cool as the storm moderated the summer heat. Ana wrapped herself in a soft throw blanket, continuing to write as thoughts emerged. She found herself noting moments of gratitude for the roof over her head, for the unexpected gift of time, for the chance to be still. These simple acknowledgments brought a profound sense of contentment that spread warmly through her chest. A knock at her door startled Ana from her writing. Her neighbor, Elena, stood with a thermos of hot tea and a shy smile. "I thought you might like something warm," she offered. They had exchanged only brief greetings in the hallway before, but the shared circumstance of the blackout had created an opening for connection. Ana invited her in, and they sat by candlelight, sharing stories as the rain continued outside. Elena spoke of growing up in a rural area where power outages were common, how her family had viewed them as opportunities for storytelling and togetherness. Ana listened, captivated by this perspective so different from her initial frustration. As they talked, the apartment filled with laughter and the comforting aroma of herbal tea. Time continued its unmarked flow, measured only in stories and the gradual shifting of shadows. After Alana left, Ana felt a curious lightness. The connection had nourished something in her that had been neglected in her usually hurried days. She returned to the window, watching raindrops trace silver paths down the glass. The storm was gentler now, moving from dramatic downpour to steady rhythm. Without electronic notifications demanding her attention, she could fully appreciate the rain's natural patterns. As afternoon light softened toward evening, Ana lit more candles and continued reading. She discovered dog-eared pages marked by the book's previous owner, little breadcrumbs of someone else's journey through these same words. One passage about finding beauty in ordinary moments had been underlined twice. Aina read it several times, feeling as though it had been waiting for her to discover on this particular day. The discovery of an old portable radio yielded another surprise. It still worked. Turning the dial carefully, Aina found a classical music station, the gentle notes of a piano concerto filling her apartment. She closed her eyes, allowing the music to wash over her, each note clear and distinct in the otherwise quiet space. Her usual playlist always served as background to other activities, but now the music became her sole focus. As evening approached, the storm began to ease, though the power remained out. Aina prepared a simple dinner by candlelight, moving deliberately through each step. The cutting of vegetables, the arrangement of food on her plate, each action became almost meditative. She savored each bite mindfully, tasting subtle flavors that often went unnoticed when she ate while working or scrolling through her phone. The first stars appeared as the clouds finally parted, visible through Aina's window in a way they rarely were in the city. She extinguished some candles to better appreciate the night sky, leaving just enough light to continue writing in her journal. Her entries had evolved from simple observations to deeper reflections about pace and presence in her life. The words flowed easily now, honest and unfiltered. A sense of profound peace had settled over Aina, something she couldn't remember feeling in months, perhaps years. Her body felt pleasantly heavy in her comfortable chair, muscles relaxed and mind clear. The forced disconnection had revealed how tethered she had been to a constant stream of information and demands. In their absence, she had rediscovered a quieter part of herself that had been waiting patiently. She thought about the presentation she had been so focused on that morning, how all-consuming it had seemed. From this new vantage point, it appeared much smaller, just one element in the broader landscape of her life. Aina realized she had been missing the subtle joys of everyday existence, the taste of food, the beauty of words, the pleasure of unhurried conversation with a neighbor. The candlelight cast a golden glow on her hands as she wrote her final thoughts of the evening. Aina noted her gratitude for the storm, for the power outage that had initially seemed so disruptive. What had appeared to be an unwelcome obstacle had transformed into a doorway to presence. She smiled at the irony. It had taken losing power to help her reclaim her own inner sense of power. As night deepened, Aina's eyelids grew heavy with a natural tiredness quite different from her usual exhaustion. This was the pleasant weight of a day well spent in alignment with her body's rhythms rather than external demands. Her breathing slowed, becoming deeper and more regular as she rested in her chair, journal open on her lap. The candles flickered softly, casting dancing shadows across her peaceful face. A gentle click and hum announced the return of electricity just before midnight. Lights suddenly illuminated the apartment. The refrigerator resumed its quiet operation, and Ana's phone began to buzz with accumulated notifications. For a moment, the artificial brightness seemed harsh and intrusive after hours of soft candlelight. Ana rose slowly and moved through the apartment, turning off unnecessary lights. She picked up her phone, seeing the stream of missed calls, messages, and emails. There were concerned notes from colleagues, updates about rescheduled meetings, and questions that had seemed urgent that morning. Ana scrolled through them briefly, then set the phone down again. These matters could wait until tomorrow. Tonight belonged to the peace she had discovered. Before preparing for bed, Ana paused at her window one final time. The city was coming back to life, lights blinking on in windows across the street, traffic signals functioning again. Yet the stars remained visible above, a reminder of what existed beyond human constructions. Ana breathed deeply, holding both awareness of her responsibilities and the newfound appreciation for stillness. Her bedtime routine was usually rushed, a final checking of emails before falling into exhausted sleep. Tonight, Ana moved deliberately, washing her face with mindful attention to the sensation of water on skin. She brushed her teeth slowly, aware of each movement. These simple acts became small ceremonies of self-care rather than hurried necessities. As she settled between cool sheets, Ana felt a profound gratitude for the day that had unfolded so differently than planned. The unexpected pause had revealed how much she had been missing in her perpetual motion. She made a quiet promise to herself to create intentional spaces of disconnection, to remember the lessons of this blackout day. The gentle rhythm of Ana's breathing matched the now soft patter of residual raindrops on her window. Her mind, usually racing with tomorrow's concerns even at bedtime, remained anchored in the present moment. The weight of the blankets felt comforting, embracing her tired body with gentle pressure that enhanced her growing drowsiness. Sleep approached not as the collapse of exhaustion, but as a gentle dimming of consciousness. Ana's thoughts drifted pleasantly, images of candlelight, poetry pages, and starlight blending into the beginnings of dreams. Her breathing deepened as she surrendered completely to rest, her face relaxed in subtle contentment. The digital clock on her nightstand marked time's passage in the darkened room, but Ana had transcended its mechanical measurements. She had rediscovered a more ancient timekeeper, the natural rhythm of her own body, synchronized with darkness and light, storm and calm. Her chest rose and fell in perfect cadence as she slept more peacefully than she had in months. Morning would bring a return to responsibilities, but Ana would meet them differently. The unexpected gift of disconnection had reconnected her to something essential within herself. As the last rain clouds drifted away, revealing a sky beginning to lighten with dawn's approach, Aina slept deeply, gathering strength from profound rest, her spirit renewed by the simple miracle of a power outage on a stormy day.